Hi, I'm Madison, and I am a recovering oldest daughter. I'm in remission, and this is a safe space for all the girls who have had to carry too much, and they were praised for being mature, for having it all together, for growing up fast, and they don't know how to fucking relax. Okay? I have been thinking a lot lately about how life is so fucking serious. And for me, this isn't new. I don't think that you have to be necessarily an oldest daughter to relate to this. You could just be a girl. We're taught from a young age to be perfect and have everything together, stay mature, keep the boys in order, do the right thing. When in reality, femininity and being a girl, like literally just a girl, is about being an observer, being an enjoyer, being a nurturer, taking life a little less seriously. Can we do that, girls? When I was growing up, I had a mom who was really iconic. She owned a business and was a diva. And I was the firstborn daughter. And so it was kind of put on me to be a certain way. And I watched my mom just be a powerhouse. And then a few years later, my little sister was born. And it was definitely put on me to be the older sister archetype. Set a good example, do the right thing. She's always watching you. And I was also the firstborn cousin. So I think like a lot of people feel this in a family dynamic where you're the first in the generation. Everybody's so excited about you. You get all the gifts before all the other kids are born. And, you know, it's great to be the firstborn cousin, but you definitely have a different standard on you to set a good example and be a good girl. But how this has manifested in my adult life has not been pretty. It has turned into me kind of internalizing a lot of that and then wearing it as an identity. It kind of made me view people who were having fun in my life as really messy and beneath me, honestly. Like, I really started to notice that I was a control freak when I was in college, and I would see other girls go through a breakup with their boyfriend. They'd be crying all over the floor and they wouldn't show up to work for a week. Or like girls who went out to the bar and they didn't know how they were going to get home. And they were just like gross and vomiting everywhere. And I remember looking at them like, ew, girl, get it together. But there was a tiny little piece of me that almost felt jealous. It almost felt like this resentment towards messy girls, because I was never able to be that. I felt like I had to keep it all together. And it turned into me like over functioning for years and being a perfectionist and being extremely critical, because that's how I felt growing up that others were towards me. It was like the more mature that I would act, the more people would tell me, even as a teenager, you're so mature. You're so much older, stronger for your age. And I was praised for it and I liked it. So then I continued to act that way and it formed an identity. Ugh. I hate that. I hate that it formed an identity. And now as an adult, I'm having to pick this all apart and be like, okay, what the fuck? Like, which parts of this is truly me? And which parts of it helped me during a time in my life where I needed to push forward, I needed to be mature, I needed to have it all together, but now I can let go of. And it's really hard to figure out when the way that you grew up and the coping mechanisms that you've had are wrapped up in who you've become. I know I'm strong, I know I'm hardworking, but that's not all of who I am. And as women who have had to be that for so long, you hit a breaking point where it's like, what can I let go of? I know I'm an independent girl. Like, I love my alone time. I am fine doing my own thing. But what it has really shown me to be is that a lot of independence has been just straight up not trusting people. Ugh. Productivity and me being productive and loving that part of myself is also me feeling guilty about sitting down and taking a break. And even as a mom, I'm a working mom. And I've been thinking a lot lately about how I feel like I have to say yes to everything, because it almost feels like if I say no or give up an opportunity, I'm never going to get that opportunity again. It's like complete survival mode still. And a big part of it also is people pleasing. Like, oh, I'm easygoing, whatever you want. I'm here to serve you. I'm happy to help. When in reality, I don't know if I'm easygoing. I think I just am really good at suppressing my own needs and putting others before myself. A few years ago, I wanted to host a little getaway to Chelan, like a little wine town on the lake. And I wanted to bring my man, a couple girlfriends and their boyfriends. And I literally obsessed about making sure that every detail was perfect. I got us a nice hotel room. I asked everybody, like, make sure that you have these things packed. What do you need from me? Here are the directions. Here's the itinerary for the weekend. I even went out of my way to pack a ton of drinks, store the fridge in the hotel room, pack a bunch of snacks, and I prepped these artisan sandwiches for this group of people. I got like the nicest loaf from the farmer's market and put prosciutto and goat cheese and arugula and like roasted tomatoes and pesto and just all these delicious ingredients in the sandwiches. I was doing the most, okay? And it's hard because it's like part of me genuinely loves to cook. I love to serve people. I love to make my friends happy. I love to like have great experiences and fun times, right? So I love like curating a vibe. But the other part of me kind of felt like I want to make sure that my friends have everything that they need so that nothing can go wrong. Because if something goes wrong on this trip, then it is reflective on me. And I remember we were bouncing around all these wineries, and at a certain point, everybody got a little hungry. So we busted out the sandwiches, ate them. Everybody loved them, right? And one of my girlfriend's boyfriends at the time, a few hours later, started talking about how hungry he was. He was like, oh, I wish that I had something to eat. I'm so hungry. And I remember being like, you're a grown ass man. Like, I made you a sandwich. Figure it out. Either order something or bring food. Like, why are you not thinking about this? You're wine drunk now, and that's your problem. You should have brought something to eat. Like, I kind of got defensive about it. He ended up going with my friend back to the hotel early, and they ordered pizza and whatever. And I just kind of felt rage about it. I was like, I made you sandwiches. I prepped everything. I planned this whole trip, and you can't even figure out your own food. Now you're going to leave the wine tasting early and go back to the hotel. So then I was so like angry, which looking back, I'm like, why was I so angry about that? Like, it really is not that serious, but it just goes to show how even if you're a control freak and you try to like position everything to be perfectly, somebody's always going to have a problem, and it's not reflective of you. Anyway, we get back to the hotel, and I was already drunk by this point, and we start drinking White Claws in the hot tub. I'm trying to get everybody to drink White Claws with me. I start being chaotic. I was like in my early 20s at the time, but I start like trying to play drinking games with everybody, being annoying. We all go to bed at like 8 or 9 because we've been wine tasting all day. Wake up in the morning. I'm like, everybody, we got to go to breakfast. Let's go to this breakfast place. I have the perfect place picked out. And we go. And I'll never forget sitting there with the group of people. There was not a word spoken. It was like, are you liking your pancakes? Yeah, these are good. It was so quiet and awkward. And then everybody left. And I remember being on the way home and just thinking, how dare these people? How dare, especially my friend's boyfriend at the time, how dare he come to a wine trip that I planned? I put together the itinerary. I put together these sandwiches. I bought the hotel room. I planned every little thing. You're not even being grateful. You're going to just leave early from the wine tasting and go get pizza when I prepped food for us to have a fun time. And then in the morning, you're just going to not even say anything. And looking back, I'm like, what the fuck? Why was I being such a control freak? Like, why was I trying so hard to make this experience something? Why didn't I just let people chill and do what they wanted to do? That was one of the moments where I just was like, I need to pull it together. I need to stop manically trying to make everybody have a good time, because am I even having a good time? Why do us as older sisters put the needs of other people above ourselves? Why do we need to be reliable for everyone else, but we can't rely on ourselves? It's costing us, ladies. And I find, girls, that when we take away the power from everyone in our life that wants to help us out by being a control freak, we are literally training our loved ones to not be able to show up for us. And then we get kind of annoyed with them when they don't. I remember one of my girlfriends that I go on road trips with often, we were planning a road trip and talking about where we wanted to go. And I said, okay, well, I'll pick up the ice and I'll make sure to get gas and I'll send you the itinerary. And I remember one time she goes, you like that, right? Like, you actually get enjoyment out of that. You don't want me to help? And I remember thinking, do I enjoy this? I just kind of do it. And I'm basically telling everyone in my life that I don't want their support, when maybe it does bring them joy too, to help be a part of the load. Being an oldest daughter is feeling like you are doing everything right and you're still annoyed at yourself and everybody else all of the time because you're not actually letting anybody else help you. And it's okay to be somebody who does like to do a lot. It's okay to be somebody who likes to plan things and be in charge. I don't think that it's so black and white. Like, you still can be somebody who likes to prep and plan and take a load off others and help nurture them and support everybody while still not doing it all on your own. This is a huge lesson I'm learning. I'm in remission. And I invite you, if you are an oldest daughter, to join me in the journey of remission, because it's hard, but it is needed work. At a certain point, if you don't go through remission as an eldest daughter, you will crash out and it's not going to be cute. Here are some ways that we can get rid of all of the toxic conditioning that we've had as the responsible one and actually enjoy our fucking lives, okay? Asking yourself, what do you want? What do I actually give a fuck about? How do I want to spend my day? Who do I want to work with? Who do I want to be with today? Being disliked, being okay being disliked, being okay being a little misunderstood, not over explaining yourself and living your truth. Watch people learn from their mistakes. This is a really hard one for me. Like, when I see that somebody is struggling, I can see often very clearly like what they need to do to get out of that situation. And I try to jump in and fix it, but they are not going to learn from their mistake if they're unable to actually experience the consequences and do it in their own time, in their own way. So not trying to jump in and help everybody. Showing up unprepared on purpose, not having every little detail put together. Saying things like, I don't know, what do you guys want to do? I don't know, what do you want me to bring? Like, putting the ball in somebody else's court. Offering, yeah, I can bring something to the barbecue. What would you like me to bring? Instead of telling them, this is what I'm going to bring. Give people a little bit of voice in a conversation. And the hardest one for me is letting things be mid. Like, actually being okay with letting some things in life not be exceptional. I'm definitely a FOMO person, like a live the life to the fullest person. It actually, I don't know what it is. It just pisses me off to have a day where you go to the grocery store, get some groceries, come home, clean up the house, watch Netflix, and go to bed. But the reality is, the fun days that are full of excitement and thrill and inspiration only come when you're recharged up by those boring ones. They say that the first step is acceptance with healing anything. And I am accepting right now that the patterns that I've had do not serve me anymore. Nobody in my life has needed me to be so intense, so hardworking, so perfect, except for me. Because it's served me during certain times. It's pushed me to get where I needed to be, but I don't need to live within that energy, and neither do you as an older sister. It doesn't mean that you don't care. This is something that I've always had a lot of friction with, is like, if I'm not doing the most at work, that means that I'm not passionate. Or if I'm not throwing a whole ass birthday party for my friend and making her a custom cake and inviting all of her friends to come celebrate her, then I don't really like her enough. No, it's not that you stop caring when you stop over committing. It's that you stop over caring to make yourself feel better. At the end of the day, even if you're an older sister, you're still just a girl. You're still a girly pop, and reminding yourself that you're safe is important. Being able to sit back and be the observer of your life and watch, what choices do people make? What choices do I make? I don't need to be the one to manage everything. Being the observer instead of the manager of my life and everybody else's life around me. It feels kind of good to sit back. Feels kind of good to say, not my fucking problem. Being a girl is dynamic. Okay. We love a Pinterest board. We love ice cubes that are so perfect on Valentine's Day, that are the shape of hearts in a cutesy little cocktail that's on theme, and it just hits different. We love getting our hair blown out and having it be voluminous. We love getting our hair blown out and having it be like nice and voluptuous and beautiful, and being tan and having a filled manicure. But that's not in our nature as women all the time. Being a girl is also running over curbs. It is crying in your car and having your mascara go down your face. It is being a little dramatic, God forbid. So this is your reminder as an older sister that you're allowed to experience the duality of womanhood, because at the end of the day, you are just a girl and you have the older sister disease, and it is curable. If you're an older sister, God bless you. It's a lot trying to be a role model, do all the right things, set a good example, but you can go ahead and take off those heavy bags and let your cutesy little shoulders rest. Take a deep breath, diva. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.